Hey guys, I'm gonna tell you today how I found out I was pregnant. It was sometime in the month of July of 2016 that I actually took a test and it came out positive. Um, after, I'm sorry, I'm trying to put all the dates together. I think it was, he went to a trip to Denmark when I was pregnant. Because when I found out I was pregnant, I was already 5 weeks pregnant. So for the first 5 weeks, Pedro went on a trip to Denmark. And I told him something's wrong. When you come back, we need to take a test because, my period is very late. And he said, okay, not a big issue. He got back from Denmark, took a test, and it came out positive. I remember I went into the bathroom because it's a Jack and Jill bathroom and it's my parents' room and my room. So I went into the bathroom. He was waiting in my room. My parents were downstairs or something. And I went into the bathroom and took the test and waited. I didn't go out there and you know what I mean? I waited because I was like, oh my god, my life is gonna change forever if this is positive. And 2 minutes went up. I look at it. Sure enough, it's positive. I'm trying to remember what went through my mind. I think I was just like, I remember, I don't know, when I get scared, I feel nauseous, I'm gonna pass out, just horrified. You feel yourself turn white, you just you're stunned. I was stunned, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. So I actually took a picture of the test, which I'll insert right here. But I took a picture of the test and I sent it to him. And I said, what does this mean? And he says, I can't remember exactly what he said, but somewhere along the lines of, what do you mean? It's positive. So, and he's waiting in my room and I'm in the bathroom, so we're not very far away. And I went out into the room and obviously I hid the test, and I looked at him and I said, it's positive. And he's like, oh my god, it's positive. And I said, I know. And it was already, we're young, but like my dad says, the poop is out of the horse, you can't put it back. So we're like, you know what, make it how it is. We're gonna have a baby together. We love each other. So it was happy that we're gonna have a baby together, but scared and sad because it's we're young, you know what I mean? And we weren't expecting that. So I went on a trip to Arizona. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel anything. So I was like, okay, it's alright. So I had remembered my last menstrual cycle because I had an app, and it told me you're 5 weeks pregnant, and I was like, okay, cool. So when I went to Arizona, I was there for a week, having fun with my family, eating food, and I was having the time of my life. And the very last day, because we drove 15 hours, the last day, I got sick to the point where I just wanted to sleep. I don't want to say bye to anybody. I didn't want to, obviously I can't just leave, I have to say bye to people. But we were staying at my dad's mom's house, and we drove from her house to my other grandmother's house, and it's a 30-minute drive. So it's I don't want to be in the car. I'm gonna be in the car for 15 hours. So, and they're giving me Gatorade, and they were giving me menudo, and they were giving me and I was like, I don't want anything. So I slept in my grandmother's room and I fell asleep. And I was asleep until we were gonna leave, till my mom got me. We're leaving, go say bye to everybody. So I was saying bye to everybody. And we got into the truck, and everyone knew something was wrong. Something's wrong, because I'm never like that. And it was weird. And one of my grandmothers was like, I think she's pregnant. And my mom's like, there's no way, no. So we're driving, not even 20 minutes into the freaking road trip back. I'm puking my brains out. And they're like, oh, okay. It was the worst road trip of my life. The worst. Because I was sick and we were like 20 minutes from home and I just wanted out of the car. I couldn't get comfortable. I couldn't nothing. And I'm like, this is horrible. Get me home. Speed home. And even when I got home, I felt out of it. And after that trip, for a week, I could only say, you know, it's probably a bug. I'm just feeling sick. It's just, and then I couldn't use that excuse anymore. So I would hide me throwing up. We have a half of a bathroom downstairs. My house is 2-story. I have half of a bathroom downstairs, and I would run downstairs every night to puke. And every morning, sorry if this is like gross, but this is what happened to me. Every morning I would throw up. Just every morning. I would puke and puke, and I was maybe 15 weeks when I finally told my parents. I said, we have to tell our parents. So he told his parents, and I told my parents, but I told my parents first before he told his. So I told my parents, I told my brother, I said, you know, I'm pregnant. I took a home test and it says I'm pregnant. And he's like, oh no. So then I called my mom. She was at work. This is the worst part. I called my mom. And no, that's wrong. I did not call my mom. I'm sorry. It was the morning before she went to work. And I felt horrible. I felt sick to my stomach. My cousin got pregnant young and her mother was so hurt and she's still very hurt. And I'm like, this is the worst way I can hurt my parents. And I told my mom and she cried. She's like, you know what? It's okay, you know, go call Planned Parenthood. She was mad. She was very upset at first. She's like, call Planned Parenthood. We're gonna go see just to double check. So we went and, you know, I took a urine test and they said, you know, yeah, she's pregnant. And we think this is how far along she is. They don't do sonograms. And the lady made me feel like crap because she was like, oh, well, you know, you come back after you had the baby and then, you know, you won't have any more. And just like the way she said it, it's like I already feel dumb. Why? But that's beyond me. And, you know, we went to go get my prenatals and we stopped in front of the house and my mom looked at me and she said, I'm here for you. She says, you know, your dad and I will always love you and we'll always have your back and I will always be here to help you. And I just cried and she cried and we're crying and she said, I'm always going to help you. If you need help, I'm always here. She said, you can fulfill your dreams still. Don't think your life is over. It'll be hard, but your life isn't over. And we were crying and crying together and just crying. And I couldn't even tell my dad. My mom told my dad because she said, tell him. And my dad said, tell me what? And I was just crying and crying and crying. And he said, what's wrong? And my mom said, she's pregnant. And just the look, I'm sorry, I don't want to cry, but like the look he gave me was just pure heartbreak. He wasn't angry, he wasn't mad, he was just heartbroken. And tears gathered in his eyes. And my mom said, say something, John. And he was up, and he walked out. He walked outside. And I just cried, and I cried, and I cried. And, you know, obviously we got over that hump. And I had my first doctor's appointment. So we went, and the doctor's looking for the little heartbeat. And, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hear my baby's heartbeat. And she's like, no, that's not it. That's not it either. And she's looking, and she said, there it is. And, you know, we heard the heartbeat, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a living being inside of me, and this is nuts, and this is a part of me, and part of Pedro, and oh my God. So, you know, a month later, she's like, we're gonna do your first sonogram. So I went in, and the doctor knew. She knew. But we my mom was standing up and she was taking pictures of us, and I'll insert that picture here. And the sonogram tech looked at my mom sternly and says, "Ma'am, put your phone away and sit down." And my mom's like, oh my god, like, why would she tell me that? So she got her phone, put it away, and she sat down. And then she started thinking, oh my god, this lady just yelled at me. Why'd she? And she, she's like, okay, let's get started. And she's like, here's the head, here's the heart, and you can hear the little boom, boom, boom. And then she's like, here's the other head, and here's the other heartbeat. I'm like, is this like a prank? Like, what did you just say? And my mom's like, Andrea, which is my middle name. And my vision went blurry. I didn't look at the screen anymore. I was just, so many emotions came over me. And and she took pictures or whatever, and oh my god, I'm having two babies. What? And I was horrified to tell my dad, now there's two, right? Because I couldn't even tell him I was pregnant with one. How am I going to tell him there's two? So I told my dad's like, how did it go? And I said, well, it went good, but I have to tell you something. And he's like, what? And I started crying, and he thought something was wrong with the one baby. And I said, no, Dad, there's two. And he looked like, okay. He's like, you know what? And because I was crying and crying and crying, he's like, it's okay. It's all right. We're going to get through this together. He says, we were going to take care of that one baby. There's just two now. We'll take care of them. We'll take good care of both of them. And I was crying and crying. And just thinking about it makes me want to cry, because it's like, my parents have helped me so much. And so has their dad, but like, my parents, I've broken their heart, and they're here for me, and they've helped me a lot, and a lot of people don't have that. A lot of girls get kicked out, and a lot of girls, the father of their children don't care. They run, and they're like panicked. And it's okay to be freaked out, and it's okay to be panicked, and it's okay to be like, oh my god, my life is over. What have I done? It's okay to regret. You're like, I'm just so stupid. Why didn't I? It's okay, because you know what? After that baby's born, everyone falls in love with the baby. And, everyone's fallen in love with Sophie and Isabel. Both of their grandparents, my parents and his parents, are a part of their life, and they love them. They love them, and their aunts and uncles love them to death. We love them to death. And it's only the beginning. It's only the beginning of a crazy roller coaster. They're already starting to put the puzzle pieces together, and they're already starting to laugh and clap and throw fits, and it's gonna be a learning experience. And people stress out about one, and they want to yank their hair out, and it's like, I don't, what, you know what I mean? And it's just, I'm the first one out of many generations back to have twins again, so I got lucky. But that's how I found out I was pregnant, and how I told my parents, and where we're at today. So thank you so much for watching.